Okay, so now that you've watched the videos, we're going to kind of discuss it a little bit more and make it make sense for decimals also. So when we're trying to decide if our answer makes sense, really you're comparing what you're multiplying by, you're comparing it to 1. Because everybody in this room knows that when you multiply a number by 1, you get the number that you started with, right? So everybody in here knows 8 times 1 is 8. So we relate the new stuff, the stuff we don't know, to stuff we do absolutely know to be true. We know any number times 1 is that number. Everybody in here knows what 8 times 2 is. What's 8 times 2? 16. Okay, and I think did I click X? Or did it, okay.
It just disappeared.
Hold on, let me make sure I'm still recording. Yep, that's still working, so. Okay. 8, so we all know 8 times 2 is 16. Now, this we haven't had to think about, but we multiplied 8 by a number that is greater than 1. So we should get an answer that's greater than what we started with. Do we agree that even though that's a new concept, that's still true to stuff we know? Okay? So notice our answer is larger than what we started with because we multiplied by a number blank than blank. Waylon?
Greater than 1.
Good job. Number greater than 1. Now, if I said what's 8 times 1/2, a lot of us don't think of that, but what if I say it this way? What is half of 8? Everybody in here, if I say what is half of 8, you guys all think 4. Here's something you don't know yet. Half of 8 is just 1/2 times 8. The word of in a math sentence means multiplication sign. Okay? They won't say what is 1/2 times 8, like TIMES in a math number, like in a math sentence. They will use the word of. So that's something I'm going to keep shoving in your ear and holding the other side and hoping it sticks. When you see of, what does it mean? Multiply. That's a word that means multiply in the upper grades. Okay? So half of 8 means 1/2 times 8. So just by knowing that, you just learned that there are some fraction multiplication problems that you already know how to do. So what do we all agree? 8 times 1/2 is 4. Notice our answer is less than what we started with because we multiplied by a number less than 1. Less than 1. We're always comparing them to 1. Less than 1. Now we're going to make some conclusions about the stuff we know to be true. So we can conclude multiplying by 1 will always result in, Colby? So yeah, and we're going to call it the number we started with. So multiplying by 1 will always result in the same number. And I'm going to use the number sign instead of writing it out every time. The same number you started with. So multiplying by 1 will always result in the same number you started with. And again, you've known that since you started multiplication back in like the end of 2nd grade, beginning of 3rd grade. Next two are the new things that I want you to start thinking about. Multiplying by a number greater than 1 will always result in what, Rory?
A bigger number than what you started.
Yeah, a number greater than what you started with. So A, again, I'm going to use the number sign, a number greater than what you started with. Last one. Multiplying by a number less than 1 will always result in what? What do you think, Zach?
A number less than what you started.
Yeah, good job. A number less than what you started with. A number less than what you started with. Okay, so in this lesson, it's really we're not learning any math, we're learning number sense, okay? Rarely will they give you a problem that looks like the problems at the bottom of this page. But they might ask you, if you multiplied 86 times 0.8, would you get a larger number than 86.8, or would you get a number smaller than 86.8? Okay, and it also helps us again when we start doing the actual math for you to think about, does my answer make sense? And if it doesn't, then hopefully we can find our error. I'm going to go back to the problems from the video. I told you there's one extra thing I have you show in addition to what he did. It'll take you an extra like split second, but it'll hopefully help you answer the question. So 8 times 1/2 box 8. What did he have you circle and why? Michaela, what did he have you circle?
The 1 1/2.
It's not 1 1/2, the 1/2. Why did we circle that one?
Because that's what we're multiplying by.
Okay, that, not necessarily. Okay, this is why I go over this, because there's a reason, and I want us to all get on the same page. Mila?
The one that you're looking at that's less than 1 or greater.
But how do we decide which one we're looking at? Because if I look at this one, it's less than 1, but that one's greater than 1. So how do we know which one is our focus number? Colby?
Because you see the 2 8s.
Because it is the one that is different. Okay? Because I could give you this same problem and put a 1/2 in place of this 8 back here. And then it's a whole different problem. So my class thought it was always the one that was a fraction. And that's not true either. It's just the one that is different. Okay? So our focus number is the one that is different. So we circled 1/2 because that's the one that is different. Then he made you think about, is it greater than 1, less than 1, or equal to 1, Dylan? Okay, it is less than 1. Here's the extra I want you to do. Under the fraction, draw an arrow. Why am I drawing a down arrow, Noelle? Why do you think I'm drawing a down arrow? Because it's less than 1. Because then for my greater than, less than, or equal to sign, that's telling me that this side has to be less than this side. So he showed that by putting a less than sign. So this side's value is less than this side's value. Down at the bottom, there's a little tiny margin. We're going to take one little note down there. How can we tell if a fraction is greater than 1 or less than 1? Aubrey?
One of the numbers is not the same as the other one.
That could go either way. Emma?
If it's greater than 1, it will be an improper fraction or a mixed number.
Yes, so at the bottom, just make a little note. Improper fractions, and obviously mixed numbers. I'm not going to write mixed numbers because those ones are more obvious because you see a whole number. So improper fractions are greater than 1. And we should already know that because when we see improper fractions, we have to finish them by changing them to mixed numbers. Okay? So improper fractions are always greater than 1. What do you think the other little side note we're going to add? Mila?
It depends like on the fraction.
This is to help us make our decision about the fraction. Zach?
Proper fractions are less.
Yeah, proper fractions are always less than 1. Their value is always less than 1. They are less than 1. Okay, and if you think about food, because again, you guys don't like fractions, but you guys all like food. If I said I'm giving you 3/5 of a sub sandwich, do you have a whole sub sandwich?
No.
No. If I said I give you 9/10 of a sub sandwich, do you have a whole sub sandwich? No, it's close, but it's still less than one full sandwich. Okay, so that's any proper fraction. I could say I'm giving you 15/16 of a sub sandwich. You're still not getting one whole sub sandwich. Okay, I'm keeping that little tiny sliver for myself. Okay, let's go ahead and just show the arrows on 2 and 3. In 2, why did he circle that one? Who can tell me why did he circle that one? Imalap? That's the one that's different. And then he decided that what? It's bigger than 1 because it's an improper fraction. What extra work do I want you to show, Cam? Okay, so an up arrow. If it's greater than 1, I want you to show that it's greater than 1, because that tells us if this number is greater than 1, then this side has to be greater than the other side. You don't have to have the green circle. Okay, on number 3, Audrey, what am I going to circle?
You're going to circle your 3/5.
Why am I circling 3/5? Because that one is the one that is different. But yes, now I have to decide, is that bigger than 1 or less than 1 or equal to 1? It is less than 1. So that tells me that this side is less than that side. Okay, so the video that you watched was all about fractions. But remember, fractions and decimals, what do we know about them? They're the same thing, just they look different. Okay, writing my name in print, writing my name in cursive. It still says my name, it just looks different. So the rule applies for decimals also. It's the exact same rule.
For whenever a fraction equals just one whole, what do you put except the arrow?
So let's go do the work for this one. Is that what you're talking about? Mm-hmm. So we would have circled that one. And she said it's equal to 1. Just put an equal sign, because that means that's also equal. Okay, good question. Now let's go down to the decimals. 4.3 times 8 is greater than, less than, or equal to 4.3. Drake, what am I going to circle?
8.7.
Where do you see 8.7? We're right here.
4.3.
Not 4. Why 8? That's the one that's different. So we're going to circle 8, and it's the same idea. Sophia, what do I have to think about with that 8?
8.0.
I don't even need to know that it's 8.0. I just need to think about, is it greater than 1, less than 1, or equal to 1? Mila?
It's greater than?
It's greater than 1, so I'm going to put a greater than arrow above it. That means that if I do the math, this side would be greater than the other side. We're going to go to the right from there. We're not going to go down. To the right, Madison, what am I going to circle in this one? 0.06. Why am I circling that one? That's the one that is different. What do I have to think about for that number?
Is it greater than
Or equal to? Is it greater than, less than, or equal to 1? Less than. Where do we look on decimals to decide that? Callie?
Where the whole number is?
The whole number. Okay? If your whole number is 0, it's less than 1. If your whole number is 1, it's equal to 1. Well, sorry, if the number is just 1 or 1.0, it's equal to 1. 1.01. That's greater than 1. And you can think money. You have enough number sense with money that if you have $1 and a penny, which is 1.01, do you have more than $1? Yes. Is it much more than $1?
Yes.
No. So that means our answer would just be slightly bigger than what we started with, but it would be larger than what we started with. So Madison was correct. This one is less than 1. So that means the left side is less than the right side. So I will put my less than symbol. Easton, next one. What am I going to circle? 0.8. Okay, what do I have to think about?
It's less than or greater.
Greater than, less than, or equal to 1. Which one is it?
Less than.
It is less than 1. And what does that tell me about the left side? It's less than the right side. Good job. So we put the less than symbol. I want you to take a second and try and do the last 3. I want to see your circle, your arrow, and your answer. So there's 3 things for each of these problems. Circle, arrow, answer. Because the arrow helps us make our choice on the answer. Brennan, help me with the first one. What am I going to circle?
0.8. Wait, no. 0.06.
Nope.
Oh, whoops.
Which one's different?
8.94.
Why are we circling 8.94?
Because it's the times.
That's the one that is different. These 2 are the same, so I always look at the other one. Callie, greater than, less than, or equal to 1?
Greater.
Greater than 1. So what does that tell me about my answer?
The left side's greater.
The left side is greater than the right side. Michaela, help me with the next one.
You circle
1.4. Okay, why do we circle that one?
There's no other one.
Because that's the one that is different in this problem. What do I have to think about?
If it's smaller.
Is it greater than, equal to, or less than 1?
Less than.
So if you have $1.40, do you have less than $1? So it's greater than 1. If that whole number is a 1 and there's numbers behind it, that means it's bigger than 1. So our answer would be greater on the left side than the right side. Mila, last one.
You gotta circle 0.9.
Okay, because that's the one that is different. What do we have to think about?
Is it greater than or equal to 1?
Greater than, less than, or equal to 1. What's the answer to that?
Less.
It is less than 1. So my answer will be, the left side will be less than the right side. Okay? Now, is there thought to these problems? Yes, you have to think about them. I kind of just walked you through the thought process 12 times. Is there a ton of math involved? No, but there is thought involved, and sometimes that's where we struggle. Okay, we usually get caught up in the math and our brain turns off. On these ones, your brain can't shut down. You got to walk through that process every single time. Okay, for homework, you have a worksheet. There are 18 problems, 9 of each, fractions and decimals. It is up here on the table, so you guys can come grab it and get started on it.